Hello, it is 2025 and it's January, so you know what that means? It's time for my annual bikepacking gear video. In this video, I run through all of my bikepacking equipment, from the bikes to the bags, the camping equipment, clothes, and the filming equipment that I take when I'm out on my adventures. These videos have been really popular in the past, so I thought I'd keep doing them to show you what I'm using for the year ahead. Before I dive into the video, I will leave a list of every single product I'm talking about in this video in the description. So if there's something that takes your fancy that you might be interested in buying, that's where you need to look. And lastly, just before I talk about the gear, I need to preface this video by answering a question that I get every single year. And that is, do you really take all of this bikepacking gear with you? It seems like a lot. The answer is no. I don't take all of this gear with me all the time. It depends entirely on what time of year I'm riding, where in the world I'm going, which bike I'm using. So basically, all of this stuff is a comprehensive list. It's not what I take for every single ride. So I just want to answer that before I get started.
Let's start with the bikes, and I have two main ones that I use. The first is a Cannondale Topstone 2019 gravel bike, and this is my favourite bike. It's been all over the world and I absolutely love it. It's fitted mostly with a Topeak bikepacking setup, front roll-up bag, frame bag, and MTX trunk bag panniers. It's a proper all-rounder and I absolutely love riding it, whether that's on road tours or off-road gravel loops. If you want to see a detailed video about it, I'll leave a link in the description. My next bike is a Sonder Frontier, a hardtail mountain bike with front suspension, 2 racks, and a similar Topeak setup to the Cannondale, meaning I can swap the bags over quite easily. This is my main winter bikepacking bike as well as my main mountain bike, and again I'll leave a link if you want to see a detailed video where I walk through it. Onto the camping gear, I use a Nemo Dragonfly bike pack one-person tent. I moved away from the Nemo Hornet last year, which was pretty good but had some flaws. This tent, however, is just fantastic. It's much more spacious, really easy to set up, lightweight and packs down super small. And it can survive some pretty harsh conditions. My summer sleeping bag is a Mountain Warehouse Extreme Down, and in deep winter I use a North Face Inferno, which is suited to -40. I also always carry a sleeping bag liner, and my main sleeping mat is a Thermarest Neo Air X Lite. I've said it a few times, but this mat is really good apart from the fact I bought a half size one, which really bugs me, but I still haven't got around to changing it. In winter, I use a Flextail Zero R05 because of the R rating, and a Sea to Summit Aeros pillow that I use all year round. This packs down really small, and it's super comfy. If I'm not using a tent, I'll use an ENO Singlenest Hammock, which is especially useful if I'm going somewhere where the terrain's not flat. And if I'm stealth camping, I'll use an Alpkit Hunker bivy bag. It's really easy to stow away, and it does the job. Moving on to cooking. I don't do a huge amount of cooking when I'm bikepacking, but I always take my Stanley Cooking Pot with 2 cups and an MSR Pocket Rocket Stove. I find that this is more than enough for what I use it for, which is basically cups of tea and dehydrated food. But if I want to do some other cooking or have a different heat source, I have this Lixada foldable wood stove. As I mentioned, for food, I tend to use these Firepot food pouches because they're good quality and dehydrated, and I always take my Yorkshire Tea. For my on-the-bike clothes, I have some GORE Cargo Bib shorts that have a pocket down the side, as well as these Endura ones, which are very similar. Really good quality and can stand some really tough abuse. In winter, I use these GORE fleece line tights, and on top of those, I now wear these GORE-TEX waterproof trousers, which are fantastic. I took them to Iceland recently and I didn't once get cold. I really like these Smartwool hiking socks, probably the most comfortable socks I've ever owned. For my shoes, I use these Quok Grand Tourer. These are really comfortable. I have this version here with the boa, which is new to me, but I still really prefer laces, so I also got myself some laced versions. I just find them more comfortable. In winter I use these Shimano MT3 shoes. They're not winter specific, but they're pretty tough. And on top of those, I wear these Alpkit Epic Overshoes with this tough bit at the front to stop them from getting worn out. And I found that they are absolutely more than enough, even in -15 degrees like I was here in Iceland. I have a variety of base layers, ideally they're merino wool but not always, and my favourite jersey is an Alpkit Kepler. Merino wool, I have a short sleeve one and a long sleeve one, and they're really versatile. I also have this DHB merino wool jersey which is a little bit more loose fitting. For my gloves, I really like these Altura track mitts and they're still going strong. But if it's cold, I like to wear my Alpkit Vulcans, or if it's especially cold in the snow, I have these Alpkit Gabbros, which are really warm. Perfect for the likes of Arctic Norway. On top of my base layers, I wear a GORE fleece-lined jersey, and this is super snug. It can be good on its own, but I like to put it underneath a waterproof when it's really cold. Speaking of waterproofs, I have a GORE Endure jacket. This is ideal for 3 seasons here in the UK, but when things get really cold, I have an Alpkit Definition mountaineering jacket. I found that by putting the GORE one underneath this, it's super toasty. And if I'm bikepacking in snow, I have a buff merino wool and these Oakley goggles to keep my eyes from freezing up. In 2025, I'm still using the same helmets. This is a POC Omni Air Spin. This one is a POC Ventral, ideal for really hot conditions like the deserts of Fuerteventura. For eyewear, I still have my old Oakley Jawbreakers, but they are a bit scratched now. And these Oakley Sutros. I had these custom made and they're really good for really harsh conditions because they're super dark. For my off the bike clothes, I have these Decathlon pumps with me nearly all the time. They cost £3 and can be packed dead flat, so they're ideal for touring. But if I'm wanting to do some more walking or some more hardcore stuff, I'll take these Bedrock sandals. You can do some proper hikes in these if you need to, and they pack down pretty flat as well. I always have some joggers like these Under Armour ones, and a nice loose fitting t-shirt, so I can choose to wear it when I'm not sleeping or if I'm wanting to relax in the tent. Most of the time I have a fleece as well, just in case, and if it's getting really cold, I have this Alpkit Halogen. This is a new jacket for 2025. It's an ultralight down jacket that packs down super small, and I can wear it in the tent in winter or wear it around the campfire in the summer. For electronics, I still have this Anker 20,000 mAh battery. I find that's ideal for most trips, but I also have this Alpkit 10,000 mAh battery that fits perfectly in the top tube bag, ideal for charging my phone or my Garmin when I'm stopped at a cafe. Speaking of Garmins, I have a Garmin 1040 Solar. This has been fantastic over the last year since I've had it. Ideal for bikepacking, big screen, and it seems to never run out of battery. For my lights, I have some Alpkit Bosons at the front, and I'm testing this new Gaciron Raptor, which is mega bright, and also serves as a battery pack if I don't use it. I sometimes take this Suptig diving light as a bit of a head torch on my helmet, and I always take a head torch when I'm camping, like this Flextail one. On to toiletries, I always take my small travel toothbrush with me, and a small toothpaste, as well as this Sea to Summit pocket soap, and a washcloth to keep myself clean. I find that's usually more than enough, but just to be safe, I always take a little deodorant so I don't stink. For my filming equipment, I have a DJI Mavic 3. This is the top of the range drone, fantastic quality, great sensor size, and perfect for the sort of films I want to make. People ask if I use active track or follow me mode. I really don't like that. I like to be able to control the drone myself manually. This is actually the second DJI Mavic 3 I've had, because the first one blew away in this storm. I have a GoPro 11, which is pretty good. It's handy to have on the bike or on my chest just to get some smooth stabilized shots of where I'm going, but the quality's okay. For my camera, it's a Sony FX3 with a 2070 lens, and I have a new tripod. This is the Peak Design travel tripod. It's much more sturdy than the last one, which would often blow over in harsh winds. The only thing I haven't changed is this microphone, the Rode VideoMic Pro. I do also have this Samyang f1.4 lens, which is really good for capturing the stars and the night sky. It is a manual lens, so I don't use it for much more than that. And I also always use variable ND filters, as well as this dual battery charger for my Sony batteries. Spares and repairs. I always carry at least one multi-tool. This is a Top Eat one. Put it in my top tube bag so I know I have it, and a chain breaker tool. And as well as that, I always carry a manual pump, and occasionally electronic one as well. Speaking of electric pumps, I have this interesting Flextail sleeping mat pump. It's something I started using as I realised my sleeping mat was a bit mouldy. Another thing I like about this is that you can deflate the mat using the pump as well, meaning that you can get it completely airless and fold it super flat. And I've got a new travel bike box. This is an Evoc XL bike box. Really impressed with this. So that's it. That's my bikepacking gear for 2025. Let me know your thoughts on my setup in the comments, and if there's anything I've missed, please do let me know. I'm sure there's something I've missed. I did try to write a big long list to ensure I didn't, but inevitably there will be something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.